Alright, this lesson is going to be over polynomials and expanding. Our objectives are to understand polynomials, to understand expanding using a Punnett Square, and to understand expanding using the FOIL method. Our vocabulary for this lesson is a term, which is an expression with only multiplication and division. Polynomial, the sum of terms. No variable, exponents, or negative exponents are allowed in polynomials. A perfect square, number that has an integer for its square root. To expand means to rewrite multiplication of polynomials. And general form, which is the form of a quadratic written y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the idea of expanding, to take vertex form and turn it into general form. We'll start with the idea of polynomials. These are 5 examples of polynomials, and I will be going through what their specific ideas are. This one, because there's no adding or subtracting happening, has one term in it, meaning it is called a monomial. We have 2 examples of monomials here. This one has addition happening, separating 2 terms, meaning it is a binomial. These 2 at the bottom are trinomials. This one at the bottom has 3 terms. This one right here, you can't tell that it is a trinomial until you expand it out, and that's what we're going to be learning next. These examples are not polynomials. This one, because it's got a variable for an exponent. These 2 are not polynomials because they have negative exponents. When you expand this out, it will still have a negative exponent. This one in the middle here is not a polynomial because on the bottom you have x squared. If you would move this to the top of the fraction bar, it would be x to the negative second power, meaning it has a negative exponent. This is not a polynomial either. Next, we're going to look at how to expand polynomials, how to do the math that gives us these polynomials. To do this, there are really 2 camps of how to work through these problems. We have the Punnett Square method, which is using a square to do our multiplication, and we have the FOIL method, which FOIL stands for multiply the first terms, multiply the outside terms, multiply the inside terms, and multiply the last terms. So FOIL, first, outside, inside, last. I'm going to do the same problem for both. Please follow along. For a problem like this, this is x plus 4 squared, which is really x plus 4 times x plus 4. We can create a square with x positive 4 on the top, x positive 4 on the side, and we multiply into the boxes. X times x is x squared, x times 4 is 4x, x times 4 is again 4x, and 4 times 4 is 16. We would then rewrite this as a polynomial. X squared, these 2 are considered like terms, so we add them together. They would give us 8x. Because it's positive, we put a plus sign in between. Then we have 16, which is also positive, so we put a plus sign. We get the polynomial x squared plus 8x plus 16. The FOIL method, we cannot use x plus 4 squared. We have to write it as x plus 4 times x plus 4. We start with the first terms. X times x gives us x squared. The outside terms, x times 4 gives us 4x. The inside terms, 4 times x gives us 4x, and 4 times 4 are our last terms. They give us 16. These again are like terms, and we can rewrite x squared plus 8x plus 16. Both give us the same answer. I'm now going to do these two methods, with another problem so you can see it again. X plus 5 times x minus 2. Make my Punnett square. I'll put the x plus 5 on the left side, positive 5. Make sure the plus and the minus sign always go with what follows them, x and minus 2. X times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. And positive 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Again, we will have like terms that will need to be combined. We're going to get x squared. 5 and negative 2 will give us a positive 3x. And lastly, we have our negative 10 at the end. This problem is already set up for FOIL. We would take first to first and get x squared. Outside to outside and get x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Inside, which is 5 times x, which gives us positive 5x. And our last, 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10. These, again, end up being like terms. We get x squared plus 3x minus 10. Now we're going to look at how we can use this to change vertex form into general form. This right here is vertex form. We want this in the form of general form. This would be general form. So I'm going to take this and change it. To change it, I'm going to use the Punnett square. The first thing I have to do, based off the order of operations, is my exponents. So I'm going to take x plus 3 and use a Punnett square. And I get x squared, 3x, 3x, and 9, which combined up will give me x squared plus 6x plus 9. I'm going to put that in parentheses, put the 2 next to it, and the minus 1 after it. And now I'm going to use distributing, because we have multiplication next. Bring down my minus 1 at the end. I have like terms in positive 18 and negative 1, which will give me 2x squared plus 12x plus 17. Put my y back in front, and I have general form. My a value is 2, my b value is 12, and my c value is 17. Remember, if any of this was confusing or you missed it, please pause, go back, and rewatch the video. Thank you.